Hello everybody, my name is Khaled Siddiqui and I'm going to teach you guys how to use and take full advantage of Garmin Nuvi 465 or 465T. First, we need to show you the GPS. This is the GPS unit. Now, Garmin 465 is a truck GPS. It's not an ordinary GPS for vehicles. You could use it as a car GPS, however, it's specifically designed for trucks. Now, you're probably gonna ask, why would I need a truck-specific GPS? Why wouldn't any GPS function for a truck? The answer is simple. A car can go on any street or road. However, trucks have many limitations. For example, a truck cannot go to roads that are dead end, where a large truck cannot make a U-turn. A truck cannot go on bridges that have weight limitations. For example, if you have a truck that weighs 80,000 pounds and the limitation for the particular bridge is only 50,000 pounds, your truck could cause the bridge to collapse. It's just as simple as that. That's the reason why you need a truck-specific GPS. Now, when it comes to bridges, the weight limitation of the bridge is not the only factor. The height of a bridge is also an important issue for trucks if you are traveling under that bridge. And in other words, we call it clearance. What is the clearance of an overpass or a bridge so that a truck could safely drive under that bridge or overpass? All this information, such as clearance, weight, length, height, width of your vehicle, factors in when a truck GPS guides you to your destination. A truck GPS will take in consideration those roads that are not allowed for trucks to drive on. It will take in consideration the overpasses and bridge heights or clearances. It will take in consideration the distance that you need to travel and the number of diesel gas stations that can refuel your truck. It will also take in consideration dead ends or sharp turns that are not possible for a truck to perform. For example, if you're traveling in a narrow two-lane road which is going through a very high altitude mountain, there could be some serious sharp turns that a 18-wheeler semi-truck or a very large bus cannot make a turn. So that's why you need a truck GPS. Now, in order to use a truck GPS, you have to enter your truck profile. Basically, all the dimensions and all the important things for the truck, you have to enter it before you continue to use the GPS. Now, one of the most important things are that a truck GPS is not only for the truck drivers. So this misconception that unless you drive an 18-wheeler, you don't need a truck GPS is incorrect. A truck GPS comes in handy for a bus driver. It comes in handy for a person who is towing a large trailer. It comes in for a motorhome driver with a 40 plus feet motorhome or even a 30 footer. And it comes in handy for a vehicle with multiple trailers. So there are multiple vehicles for which you need a truck GPS. Okay, let's start learning. So first, how do we mount this? This is the mount. This is not part of the GPS. This is a microphone that I have mounted here so we could capture the sounds that come from the GPS speaker. So this is how you mount it. You slide the bottom and snap in the top. That's how you mount it. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it off and turn it back on. Actually, I'm going to turn it off completely like this. I'm going to turn it off like that. I'm sorry. Okay. I had to turn off my phone. So now, as soon as I plug in the cord, it should turn back on. Okay, so there it is. So you have to press on agree. So here's what you need to pay attention to. It says, even when using this product for truck navigation, it is your responsibility to account for your vehicle's height, length, weight, and other restrictions when driving at all times. Always heed all posted road signs and road conditions when making driving decisions, even when driving on routes calculated by this device, including preferred routes. Okay, so we have to agree, unless you want to switch to car mode. So we have to agree. After you did the agreement, now this is the dimensions and weight information for the truck I have entered. A width of 9 feet, height of 13 feet, weight of 44,000 pounds, overall length of 60 feet. This is a smaller truck because usually semis are 75 feet or 78 feet or more. And is there a hazardous material inside the truck? No. If there is, then you have to mention what hazardous material you have, and the GPS will guide you through those routes where those hazardous materials are permitted to be transported through. For example, this is an example. If you're transporting radioactive material, you cannot be driving your truck to residential areas. So that's why it's very important to write down if you have hazardous materials. Now, this question that says maximum weight per axle, this is also very important. But since I didn't know that information, I didn't mention it. Number of trailers, we only have one. So if I were to change any of these, I have to click on change and enter the correct information. If this information matches my truck or my RV or my bus, then I'm good to go. So I'm going to click OK. Once you click OK, basically the navigation or the usage is not much different than a normal car GPS. Okay. So first we go to settings to set everything based on our needs. We go to settings and click here. Go to system. Simulation has to be off, but if you turn it on, that's only for indoor uses, so it's off. The simulation comes on when the satellite signal is lost. For example, if you're traveling through a very large tunnel or underground road networks, the GPS simulation will simulate your speed and location based on the speed and of entrance, the speed that you entered the tunnel. Because once you're inside the tunnel, the GPS satellite signal is lost And even if you make a complete stop inside the tunnel, the GPS assumes that you're moving at the same speed that you entered. The GPS simulation is not very accurate, so it's always good to have live, real-time satellite signal. The usage mode is currently truck, but you could change it to car if you're using it for a car. Unit of measurements, you have to use miles in the United States, and you have to use kilometers everywhere else in the world. I believe in England you have to use miles as well. Now this is the keyboard layout. The QWERTY is the same layout as the computer keyboard, and much simpler to use than if you choose ABCD. If you choose ABCD, like alphabetical order will be A, B, C, D, like that. See, let me show you. A, B, C, D, E, like that. It will be alphabetical order. But this is much simpler. So use this one. Okay, so now we go back. Truck profile. This is where you enter your truck profile. Currently, I have entered a truck that's 8 by 13 by 60 with the 44,000 pound weight. You could change that and add a new profile. If I were to add a new profile, I go new, width you want to change, overall length you want to change, hazardous material you want to change, height you want to change, gross weight you want to change. Now this is gross weight, not net weight. This means the weight of your truck including the load that you're carrying. That's what it means. For example, if your truck weighs 20,000 pounds and you have 40,000 pounds worth of load, you have to mention 60,000 pound, like that. Maximum weight per axle, this is something that you should know for your truck. So you need to do that. Number of trailers. Some trucks have multiple trailers. I have seen up to 3 trailers on the freeways in the United States. I don't know if they make more, but I have seen up to 3. Anyways. Okay, so let's go back. Now, navigation. Navigation, route preferences. What would you like the GPS to calculate the route based on? If you choose faster time, it could take you to a longer distance, but all freeways with higher speed limits than taking you through roads with multiple traffic lights, even though the road with multiple traffic lights could be shorter distance. But because you have chosen faster time, it will disregard the shorter distance and it will take you through a route that will get you to your destination fastest. So you could choose faster time, shorter distance, or off-road. So we always want to choose faster time. Avoidance enabled. Avoidance is very important based on the vehicle you're driving. See, I'm going to show you why it's important. If your truck is too long for making U-turns, you have to avoid U-turns. Whichever box is checked, that is the criteria the GPS will avoid. So if U-turn is checked, it will avoid giving you routes that require U-turns. If you check highways, it will never take you through highways. So this is only good if you're riding a bicycle, because bicycles are not allowed on highways. Other than that, you don't have a reason to avoid highways. Obviously, there are certain types of vehicles that are not allowed on highways. For example, motorized bicycles, regular bicycles, some types of scooters, golf cart, street legal golf carts. They are not allowed on highways, so you have to avoid. Toll roads, you have to avoid because if you don't want to pay the toll, for example, if you don't want to pay the cost of that road, so you have to avoid it. Traffic, obviously you want to avoid, but avoiding the traffic only works if you have a traffic receiver cable. Now this GPS does have a traffic receiver cable. This is a traffic receiver cable, and this is the traffic receiver in the middle of the cable. So that's why we are avoiding the traffic. Ferries are little boats that actually transport vehicles from one side of the river or lake to the other side. So this is something that you need to avoid if you're driving a big truck, because they're not gonna be able to fit a big truck in ferries, so you have to avoid that. Okay, you go down. Carpool lanes you must avoid if you're traveling alone. So a truck can never go to a carpool lane, but this GPS is going to be used for a bus. So it's going to, the carpool lanes, buses are allowed to go to carpool lanes because multiple people sit in a bus, so that should be good. Alright, so that's the avoidance. It's very important. Sharp curve warning is enabled. You could enable, you could mute, you could disable. Alright, so enabled, it will warn you if you're about to approach a sharp curve. Now here's the thing, why should the GPS warn you if you are about to arrive at a sharp curve? The reason for that is that if you're driving a semi-truck or a very large vehicle such as a very large motorhome or a bus, you have to take a longer circle with a bigger radius to accomplish the turn if it's a sharp turn. So basically you have to go to the righter edge of the turning lane, a left turn lane. Or even if you're making a right turn, you have to go a little bit to the left lane to make a right turn to get a bigger circle. That's why it needs to warn you in advance, so as you approach that turn, you could change your lanes or hit your emergency lights or whatever you need to do based on the particular position or situation you're in to avoid. So that's something you need to know. Alright. Okay. So let's see. Back. Okay, so that was navigation. Display. Daytime is much better, which is for daytime, and nighttime is like this. Everything is dark. Automatic will automatically switch between day and night based on the time of day. So I like daytime for this video, but automatic is the best. For shooting a video for YouTube, it's good to leave it on daytime. But automatic is the best if you in real life situations, because if you put it on daytime, at night the GPS screen will be so bright that it will kind of the reflection from the screen or the glare from the screen will affect your driving, and it could cause hazardous driving conditions because you're not able to see the road clearly. Alright, so that's currently on 100% the brightest that it can be because I'm shooting this video, but under normal circumstances I don't do that. Okay, time. The time, you need to choose the current time, and you need to choose the time format if you want it 12 hours or 24 hours. You know this military time, which you do 24 hours. Anyways, go back. Language. Every language that comes with TTS, that is text to speech. If you choose a language with TTS that has TTS, that language will actually speak the name of each street. For example, TTS will tell you turn right on Broadway, where without TTS it will simply tell you turn right. It doesn't say Broadway, it doesn't say First Avenue, it doesn't say Lincoln Avenue, it doesn't say that. That's why you need to choose TTS if possible, but TTS is not available in every language. Certain languages don't have TTS, so you have to choose the language, and if you're lucky and it has TTS, choose the TTS. Now TTS is computer generated voice, which is not as crisp and clear as a normal voice. However, it's pretty decent and it's pretty understandable, so that shouldn't be any problem. You can choose the text language or keyword language and voice language. 3 ways you can change the language. Text language is the language of each menu icon. For example, restore is an English word, back is an English word. The language right here is the very word language is English. If you change this to Spanish, this will become lengua, restore will become in Spanish, back will become all of the things will be in Spanish. This is the text language. Keyboard language is the keyboard with which you enter addresses. So this must be changed if you're going to a foreign country where the alphabet is different. For example, if you're traveling in Greece, and the language is Greek. So you have to have a Greek keyboard to enter the street names. Otherwise, how are you going to enter the street names? If you're going to Russia, the alphabet is Cyrillic, so you have to have Russian keyboard. Same with countries such as Oriental countries like Vietnam or China. They have a different alphabet. Middle Eastern countries, they have Arabic language, which you need to change. So those are the things you need to pay attention and change based on the language you're in, okay, region you're in. All right. Map detail. I always like to choose most, but you could choose more, normal or less, but I like to choose most. Okay. What's the difference between more, most, and whatnot? If you're traveling in a highway and you choose map detail to most, you see every single street and alley on the right and left of the highway that you're traveling on. If you don't, then you don't see those. It will simply not show them. So it's good to have most. The map view 3-dimensional is much better because it's like that. If you choose track up, whichever direction you're traveling to will be on the top of the screen. If you choose north up, only north will show on the top. The north up is the worst. Why? Because if you choose north up and you are traveling south, your vehicle will be moving this way on the screen, and when you are making a right turn, it actually goes this way because it's with respect to that direction. Right would be this way. You're actually going left when you're making a right turn because you have chosen north up. So the best one is 3D. The second best is track up, because with track up, if you're making a right, it will go to the right, the vehicle will go to the right. If you're making a left, the vehicle will go to the left. So it doesn't create the confusion that normal north up map would show. Okay. So 3D is the best. I like 3D. Okay, so change vehicle. I'm not going to change the vehicle right now, but there are multiple vehicles to choose from. This is a truck GPS, so you have buses and trucks and semi-trucks, but you also have cars to choose from. For example, let me show you. There's an RV right there. That's an RV. That's another truck, a red one. It's a different truck. So, different types of trucks and cars, and you could choose a car, you could choose a truck, you could choose all kinds of goodies. Alright. Trip log will show you the route where you have already been. This causes confusion. It's only good if you're using the GPS for walking. Why it causes confusion? Because when you are going somewhere, wherever you have already been will become blue. So what happens is that it will prevent you from going in circles. Like if you're lost in a desert, or if you're lost in a forest, it's good to have trip log because you will see if you're going in circles. It simply shows the path that you have traveled. It will create a line on the path that you have traveled, but that line will simply be confusing with an existing map, so it's good to hide it. Okay. Map information. The map information on this GPS is 2019. These GPS, most of these qualify for free updates through Garmin because it's a truck GPS. Now the TTS data does not require update because that's information. This is the actual map which requires to be updated. Alright. The TTS shows like truck stops and other information such as truck repair places, diesel gas stations and whatnot. That's the TTS. I mean, you would have to update the TTS, but it's not as important as updating the map. Okay, so that was map. Now security, if you want to lock the GPS device, you choose Garmin lock, and then you have to enter a 4-digit PIN, which I don't want to use Garmin lock, but if you forget the PIN, the GPS will unlock itself when it's back to the same location where it was, where the PIN was originally created. So you can only create the PIN if you have clear satellite signal, and even if you make the PIN, it will not lock the GPS unless you have a clear satellite signal. Also, I don't recommend creating the PIN because this is for prevention, theft prevention, or if in case the GPS gets stolen or whatnot. But here's the deal. What if you forget your PIN and you don't have access to the same location where you created the PIN? So you basically have to throw away your GPS. Now, as far as thieves are concerned who break into your car, they don't care if your GPS is locked or not locked. They simply will grab the GPS and walk away. So if it's locked, they simply throw it away. But or sell it for parts or whatnot. But so that's why I don't like to lock it. Even though for security reasons it's good to lock it. But yeah, that's what that is. Now, one thing I have to tell you that if this is very important. Actually, about this, I'm gonna look into the camera and talk to you. One of the reasons you do want to lock your GPS and create a PIN is this. If a person steals your GPS and that GPS is basically unlocked, what they could do is find exactly where you live. They could hit home and drive to your home address. And especially if you're not home, let's say you're traveling and your home address is somewhere else, basically they already know, the thief already knows that you are, let's say, in Kansas City and your home is, let's say, in Chicago. So now the thief knows that you're not home. With using the GPS, they can go to your house. Now, if you leave your car keys inside the car with the GPS, now you have given the thief not only your car, also your home address with your home keys together with your car keys. So now the thief can simply hit home on the GPS, go to your house, use the key that you forgot inside the car, and clean your house. That's the reason creating a PIN is good safety. But if you are never leaving your keys in the car, that's an extra step or extra headache that you want to prevent. Okay? Safe mode is important to know. Safe mode will prevent you from entering any information, address, or anything when the GPS is in motion, meaning when the vehicle is moving, it will not allow you to enter any information. So it's good to leave safe mode off if you want to be able to enter addresses. For example, if this is on and I enter an address, it says you have to pull over, pull over the vehicle and make a complete stop before you're able to enter an address. Okay, Bluetooth is, before I go to Bluetooth traffic, this is important to talk about. Now, this has a traffic cable with multiple subscriptions, but normally they only have one subscription. This has multiple subscriptions. So, let me show you. This has UK subscription, Germany, France subscriptions, Belgium, Italy, Finland, Norway, Sweden, Poland, SI is another one, Hungary, Lithuania, Netherlands, Great Britain, Ireland, and USA and Canada. So these are the subscriptions. That's how you know. If you need to add a new subscription, you have to go here and then you have to add, enter the code number, and you go from there. Alright, so let's go back to Bluetooth. Bluetooth is if you want to add a phone. With Bluetooth, you will be able to answer the calls through your GPS screen if your phone is Bluetooth enabled. Proximity point is very important. Proximity point will alert you when you're approaching, like red light camera, safety camera, or points of interest in case of a truck, for example, a truck stop or a truck scale, the scales that you must go to, and all the good stuff. Now, this GPS happens to have Garmin safety camera alert, but not all of them do. So yours might not have this. You have to pay extra for that. It doesn't come with the GPS. I believe it's $29 or $39 extra, and it warns you when you approach red light cameras. Okay. Okay, what else? Okay, we covered everything in settings. Now if you go to tools and where am I, it tells you your exact coordinations. And help, it helps you, different things, how to use. Picture viewer is used to view the pictures. Routes, no routes are available. You could create a route, save a route, and all that stuff. My data, you could clear, set home location, it's not set yet. Delete favorites, clear trip logs. These are the things you can do. World clock shows you what time it is in different countries. And calculator is simple, how to calculate. Unit converter changes like centimeters, different units of measurements, for example, square meters, centimeters, inches, areas, different things you can choose from. Now this is for area, but you could change the conversion to currency, distance, speed. For example, if you want to know speed, meters per second, you can change that to kilometers per hour, to, let's say, miles per hour. Let's say if you're going 65 in the United States, it's 104 kilometers. That's like a conversion. Okay. All right. So that's conversion. We covered that. Now we get to the main point, how to use it. First, in order to see how good is the traffic, you click on View Map, and you click on see the traffic is gray because right now I don't have traffic signal. This should be green if I'm receiving traffic reception. Right now I do not have any traffic reception, so basically it's all grayed out. But this should be green, and then once you get reception, search traffic. You could choose search traffic currently. Whichever one is red is bad, yellow is okay, green is perfect. So these are, it shows where we have like congestions and slow traffic. Now this shows you the speed, like California Interstate 125, it's 3.1 miles northwest. This one is also 3.1 miles northwest. This is northeast. Tells you how bad the traffic is. For example, southbound Interstate 805, which is 7.7 miles west of me. If you click on it, it tells you what condition it's in. So let's click on that. And it tells you that the traffic, you see that little sign that says that the traffic backup is from that point to this point. Basically a very, very large chunk is bad, is like, very heavy traffic, very heavy. And if you want to see like the data of that exact traffic, red road is slow traffic, and it tells you exactly what's going on there. So those are the things that you can understand with traffic. Show traffic map, it shows you where heavy traffic is. So show normal map is just normal map. It doesn't show, like if I show traffic map and there's a lot of traffic on this road, then this will be all red. That's how that works. Okay, now how do you navigate? You go where to, you enter the address, spell city, spell postal code, search, change country. It's all self-explanatory. You could spell the city you want to go to. Let's say I'm going to San Diego. So San Diego, California, San Diego metro area, California. You need to choose. So I'm going to choose California, San Diego, California, and let's say 200 Broadway. Done. And I'm going to choose Broadway. B-R-O-A. Broadway circle. So 200 Broadway, San Diego, California 92101. Let's say I'm going there. I simply click, and that's the address. It says, are you going there? Either I go, or I save, or I simply back or cancel. So that's how the navigation address entry works. Okay, now what is NTTS? NTTS shows for trucks, it shows all categories: truck repair, towing and recovery, tire sales and repair, trailer repair, truck stops with repair, things like it's not that important because they're subject to change, but it's good to have. Points of interest. If you're going to a particular point of interest, you click here, and then you could choose, spell the name. You could say food, lodging, shopping, fuel, trucking, bank or ATM, transit, parking, attractions, recreation, entertainment. Then we have hospitals, community, auto service. You just click on it. Let's say if I choose fuel, for example, it will give me the list of all the closest gas stations. If I choose ATM, it gives me the closest banks. Okay. If I choose shopping, it gives me the all shopping or what kind of convenience service, convenience store, whatever it is you choose, and it gives you the list of those. Parking is where you can go and park. So simple as that. Recently found shows the list of places that you have recently traveled to. For example, if you went to 4 or 5 different places, all those places will be in recently found. Favorite, of course, is places that you save as favorites, and then you can go. Currently it's empty because there aren't any favorites. These are the factory favorites that come from Garmin, but they're not going to be useful for you. Anyways, go home. You have to enter your home address. It's not entered yet. Intersection is very important. In some places the addresses are confusing or not very good. Then you could choose intersection, where you put the name, one name, and then the second name of the 2 roads crossing, like 2 roads are crossing like this. So you enter the name of this road, and it will take you to that intersection. It comes in handy, but it's not going to be deadly accurate as far as finding the exact location where you want to go to, but it gives you a rough estimate, takes you to that intersection. Extras, something you have to buy from Garmin. Cities, you could go by name of a city. If you want to go to Los Angeles, to the city of Los Angeles, you just hit city, put Los Angeles, and it takes you there. Routes, you can create routes. Currently no routes are created. And browse the map shows you how to see where the map is, browse the map. And coordinates. Coordinates is very important if you're traveling to countries where addressing is not accurate. So what you do is you enter the horizontal and vertical longitude and latitude, longitude and latitude. You could choose north, west, or east, south, and so on, and then you put degrees and seconds and minutes and seconds and degrees and whatnot. And you can change the format if you want, degrees, minutes, and seconds, or how you want it to be. You could change it. You have to choose the right format that the place is giving it to you. For example, I went to Italy. The hotel gave me the longitude and latitude of their address, and then I entered it. I didn't have to enter a complicated long Italian sentences, which I don't speak Italian. So for me it was much more convenient to enter the coordinates on my GPS than to punch in the address and the street name, especially the street names were very long names, more than 13-14 character. It's hard, especially if you don't have the alphabet. For example, if you're going somewhere in China, you don't speak Chinese, you don't even know the actual alphabet in Chinese alphabet to enter the address. So the best thing for you is to get the coordinates and enter the coordinates if you don't speak Chinese. So that's not only for Chinese, for any language that you don't speak. It could be Greek, it could be Hebrew, it could be Arabic language, or any language. If you don't speak that language, you don't even know which alphabet is what, and you don't know how the keyboard layout is. So it's good to get the coordinates. Enter the coordinates and the GPS will take you to the place. Okay. Alright, so that's about it. So I hopefully I covered everything, and if I didn't, I'm sorry, but if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to ask, and please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.